Hi there, folks. So, as you know, there was no video last week as I was on holiday, and so I've got a bit of catching up to do. What I plan to do is today we're going to do a book review. I finished reading Ken Follett's A Dangerous Fortune just before I went on holiday. So I'm hoping I can remember enough to talk about that in a minute. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video, following straight on to catch up so that it's all still fresh in my memory. I'm also going to do a video about my recent holiday because I went to a very bookish place. Those of you in the UK might be able to guess where that is. I am looking forward to showing you where I went and what we did. So today's video is obviously about this book, which is Ken Follett's A Dangerous Fortune. I have to say, I did get into this book. I did read it fairly quickly for me. Let's just talk about the plot first of all. It's set in late Victorian England amongst the very wealthy society, a banking family, and some very corrupt and ruthless people. It took me a while to get into it because I had only just finished reading the Philippa Gregory, set in the very sort of opposite end of society and a very, very different style of writing. I wasn't sure I was going to like this at first. It starts out at a boys' public school, the theme of the banking family, and I thought, am I really going to enjoy this? And also, it took me a while. It wasn't apparent at first who the main protagonist was. It doesn't start out with him, but gradually you get to realise who the most sympathetic character is, and he is the main character. So it starts out with what looks like an accidental death of one of the boys in this school. But we gradually come to realise is not quite as accidental as it seemed at the time. And then we move forward several years. The main character is Hugh Pillister, whose father was a member of this banking family who went out on his own and then became bankrupt. So his son within that society has a lot to prove. But the main members of the family are pretty villainous. There is one other main character. There are really two other main characters who are pretty nasty. There's Augusta, who's ruthless and cunning and manipulative aunt who really uses everybody like pawns to get what she wants. And the other really nasty character is one called Mickey Miranda, who is the son of, again, a very ruthless head of a South American family who is determined to use whatever means to overthrow the government of his country. And and Mickey is in England to try and get hold of the arms necessary to do this. And he has wormed his way into the Pillister family, and he was also at that boys' school where that death happened. And as the story goes on, you realise just what a nasty character he is. So just to show you that I am being harassed by my dog because it's nearly lunchtime and she always gets a nice doggy chew at lunchtime, and she usually starts harassing me round about now. So excuse the interruptions. It's not time yet. So the main character, Hugh, who has much more in well, in fact, he's almost the only one who has any integrity in this book, is trying to find his way, and he is the one who actually is the better banker than any of them. Augusta's son, who is really due to inherit the legacy of the bank and senior partnership, is pretty useless. And so poor Hugh is, is trying to find his way up to that position himself against all the machinations of the rest of the family. There is also a romantic interest. So there are also some interesting female characters in this who are varying levels of integrity, strength, and, as I say, Augusta, the very ruthless and manipulative one. I have read this is the only Ken Follett book I have read so far. And I have read somewhere that he does tend to be very formulaic. I've read other people's criticize him for basically having the same plot, the same characters in all of his books. So I can only go with what I've read so far. If I read more, I might sort of be saying the same thing, I've read this before. But I can only go with saying that this is the only book I've read. And I did really get into it, as I say. It's a real thriller. There's a good mix of different characters. Some characters have more integrity, and there's quite a lot of more villainous, selfish, and manipulative characters. I have to say that there was one bit where I had to skip a page. There are some scenes that are difficult, and there's a lot of very sordid scenes, shall we say, in brothels and various things like that. That doesn't bother me, being upstaged again, as usual. But the page I had to skip was one where some of the characters go to a gambling den where they were placing bets on a fight between dogs and rats. I had to skip that page because I cannot bear reading anything that has cruelty to animals. That was the only bit I skipped because he's quite descriptive. He does sort of go into detail. So be warned about that. But otherwise, I'm not particularly squeamish about anything else. Did I enjoy it? Well, yes, I did. I did enjoy it. I really got into it. The more I read, the more I thought, oh gosh, this is, I really want these characters to really overcome all these difficulties, and I really want those villainous characters to get what's coming to them. So, as thrillers go, it did really hold me. He's been criticised for rather stereotypical characters, but I found his characters a little bit more three-dimensional than, for example, Dan Brown's characters. You get to see them from different points of view. So we see things from Hugh's point of view a lot, but we also see things from Augusta's point of view and from Mickey Miranda's point of view, etc. So you do get inside their characters' heads. And he's a really good storyteller. It's very well constructed, the plot. It really does keep you interested. It's quite an intricate plot. It's quite complicated, but it's quite easy to follow all the same. So yeah, if you like historical novels that are also thrillers, and what a sight. He does his research. He sets the scene of the late Victorian period very well. I do give this a thumbs up with some reservations, as I say. I would be interested to read more to see just how formulaic his writing is. But I did enjoy it as a historical thriller set in the world of high finance, high society, corruption, scandal, etc. Yeah, if you like all that, you'll probably love this. So that is what I thought of it. I will be interested to know what you think. My next book review will be this one, which I'm already halfway through. It's The Stonehenge Legacy by Sam Christer, and it's another thriller, not a historical one. Yeah, I'm getting through that quite quickly. Now, also, as I am trying to catch up this week, I do make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss my next video, which is going to be a little bookish video about where I visited last week. So look out for that, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.